Welcome to Teaching Truth. As the huge dust cloud following the collapse of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center began to envelop Lower Manhattan, the beautiful blue sky morning that had been was transformed quite rapidly into a scene that was dark and nuclear-like. Almost like a scene out of a disaster movie. Beautiful blue sky New York was transformed in an instant into a scene of great destruction and sadly death. And great Babylon will one day be transformed within an hour, as we read in Revelation 18. In that same time that New York was transformed into a scene of destruction and death. Beautiful Babylon will be no more. Babylon will be burning. And for our final reflection today in Revelation 18, we want to think about the death of commercial Babylon, this grand finale that will happen. Let's read of the death of Babylon in Revelation 18 from verse 21 to the end of the chapter. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a large millstone and threw it into the sea and said, "With such violence the great city of Babylon will be thrown down, never to be found again. The music of harpists and musicians, flute players and trumpeters will never be heard in you again. No workman of any trade will ever be found in you again. The sound of a millstone will never be heard in you again. The light of a lamp will never be heard in you again. The voice of bridegroom and bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's great men. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. In her was found the blood of prophets and of the saints, and of all who have been killed on the earth." Do you notice the rhythm of those verses? Will never be found in you again. There's a finality to Babylon, commercial Babylon, of which we read in Revelation 18. And in our reflection today, we think about the death of Babylon. An angel graphically shows Babylon's fall. We read that a mighty angel, note the words here, a mighty angel, took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, "This great city, Babylon, shall be thrown down, and that will effectively be the end of her." This is reminiscent of Jeremiah's instructions to Sariah to bind a stone to a text of Jeremiah and cast it into the Euphrates. In other words, Babylon will sink. Babylon will go down. It will not come up again. Jeremiah 51, 61 to 64. Babylon is going down. Babylon will collapse. Babylon the Great will fall. It shall not be found anymore. And that will be the reality. That will be fact. Someday, one day, and I believe not that far away, this world system, this world economic system will pass away. Like a great stone falls to the bottom of the ocean, never to come up again. And that's what is being described here by this millstone being thrown. This millstone going to the bottom of the sea. Babylon will sink. Babylon will go down. Babylon will, as it were, be drowned. Babylon will be left desolate and powerless. We read that the sound of harpists and musicians, flutists and trumpeters shall not be heard in you anymore. No craftsman shall be there anymore. The light of a lamp shall not shine anymore. The voice of a bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you anymore. There's a finality, there's a reality to what's going to happen here. In graphic and poetic language, John is describing how the industry and how the commerce and how the life of Babylon will come to a very dramatic and a very abrupt ending. The lure of commercial Babylon is like a drug addiction. For by your sorcery all the nations were deceived. Sorcery is the great Greek word pharmaika, which means to prepare drugs. In other words, as I've said, the lure of commercial Babylon will be like a drug addiction. The nations will be deceived. The nations will be addicted to deceptive advertising. Babylon will be left desolate and powerless. Verse 24, the ultimate reason for commercial Babylon's judgment is that she will have killed the prophets and saints. In her was found the blood of prophets and saints. And this is simply indicative that this great city, Babylon, which will one day fall, is symbolic of the world system at large. There's no one literal city, geographical city, that is responsible for all who will be slain on the earth. But it is indicative of the world system of oppression, of persecution. And God takes the persecution of his people as a personal offence. In her was found the blood of the prophets and saints, the martyrs, those who were persecuted, those who attack his people, in the eyes of God, really attack him. In Revelation 18, in our reflections this week, we've sought to unpack and show what the fall of commercial Babylon will look like. This great city will one day come to an abrupt end. Commercial Babylon, this world system, will one day fall. All banks will one day fall. All great institutions will one day fall. But hear this, Jesus Christ is as solid as the rock of Gibraltar. To paraphrase the words of a hymn that we used to sing, don't sing as much these days, on Christ, the solid rock I stand, all other rocks are sham rocks. On Christ, the solid rock I stand, all other rocks are sham rocks. We can put our faith and our trust in Jesus Christ. We can depend on him. We can have that hope in him because Jesus Christ is as solid as the rock of Gibraltar. One day this world system will end. One day this world system will come tumbling and crashing down. The twin towers of Babylon will one day fall, will one day collapse. Babylon, this great city, will be no more. But Jesus Christ will reign forever. Is your hope today in Jesus Christ? God bless you.